Love is Blind Season 10 is basically over, and I think I can officially say it's been a shit show. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, it's Nay. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for Love is Blind Season 10, episodes 10 through 11. So if you haven't seen them yet and you do not want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. You are about to hear my thoughts on episodes 10 and 11, but of course I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop your thoughts below if you do want to participate in the conversation, and give this video a like and a hype before you go. As a reminder, me and I Be Chillin' are going live every Friday during this season, so we will be live this Friday. Stay tuned to my community tab for the time on that, but it's probably going to be the same time as last week. Thank you for all of you who joined last week's live, and a special shout out to those of you who came up to the stage and shared your opinions. Love that. That was so much fun. If you want to have your opinion be heard, IRL, kind of, feel free to join. You don't have to be on camera, but it's just nice to hear from you guys. In addition to that, we're obviously going to be watching the reunion together as we do every single season. You can join my Discord server at the link below, and we'll be watching the reunion once they announce it. So we are going to be here for a good time and not a long time today, because not too much happened. We're getting towards the end of the season. In honor of Ashley though, I did find the biggest turtleneck that I have. It's not quite as expensive. I'm sorry. I tried to say it with a straight face. It's not quite as expansive as hers, but you know, I did my best, okay? I am not of high society, so my turtleneck isn't quite as large, but I did the best that I could. Let's briefly talk about the remainder of this pod mixer. Who would have known that Chris was not done making a fool of himself? Now, Bree actually does ask Chris the question that all of us wanted to know, and that's, why didn't you say any of this stuff in Cabo? We saw Chris and Jess together, and everything between them looked fine. Not only that, he told us that everything was fine. He said, we're doing good. He was basically telling Breezy, girl, stop trying to come on to me, go on over to your man. He told us that. But when Bree is asking him about it, he's shaking his head nah, as if he's trying to tell her that she read that situation wrong.
We saw you and her together. It was like, we thought 100%. It was like you guys were totally in it, because I feel like the emotional connection was like there.
At this point, that boy's a liar. Because he not only had the cast fooled, he had Jess fooled, and I think it's safe for me to say that he had the majority of us fooled. He really did look like he was all in on Jess until the very moment when he wasn't. They looked solid. He goes on to essentially say that Breezy was his number one, but she was friends with a lot of losers, and so he thought that she was a loser by association.
What worried me, honestly, was like you were just friends with like a lot of dudes, but like you were friends with like a lot of loser dudes.
You're friends with guys who just go with the flow. Me, Chris, I don't go with the flow. I have a plan, and that plan begins with you and me at the Four Seasons tonight. I can't wink, but
I would take you to the Four Seasons. Like staying there. That's maybe luxurious to normal people.
Yeah. Room service in the rose for Mr. Fusco.
Baby stuff.
I believe that Chris has actual impulse control issues, and that's never good, because that can manifest in anger, that can manifest in you blurting out things without thinking first, which is the way that we've seen it manifest in him. But I just worry in other ways that could come out. Either that, or he just doesn't give a damn how he makes people feel, which it could also just be that he might just be an asshole. Because he could have stopped at Breezy, I feel like I made a mistake in choosing Jess. He said that, he could have stopped right there. But instead, he goes on.
Are you like attracted to me?
And on.
I'm back in the real world and I'm like, fuck, she lives a half a mile from me. She's hot as fuck.
And on.
Felt like we would have been like fuck buddies.
And I'm actually very interested in what y'all think about this. He basically says that Connor chose Breezy by default. Now, based on Connor's reaction during him and Breezy's breakup, I don't think that's true. That man seemed very genuinely hurt. I mean, real tears were pouring out of his eyes. However, I do wish that everything played out the other way. Meaning, I wish that Chris and Breezy ended up together, because maybe Connor would have gone with Emma simply because Breezy was out of the game. Maybe he would have put more effort into Emma. And Connor was Emma's number one anyway. So that pairing could have worked out better. And then Jess would have never made it out of the pods, and Mike would have never made it out of the pods, and a whole lot of heartache could have been avoided. But wait, there's more. In another display of simply being a terrible person, after having that conversation with Breezy, Chris then goes over to Connor and tries to dab Connor up and, like, you know, try to have bro talk with him, basically, as if he didn't just invite his fiance to a hotel for the night. And then he had the audacity to hit her up again after everybody went home, knowing that she was gonna be with her man.
Chris Fusco, let's see it. Are you staying in GV tonight?
Also don't like how when he did walk up to Connor, he kind of got in between Jess and Connor and then almost intentionally had his back towards Jess. Like, he could have stood in front of both of them and just kind of turned slightly towards Connor, but he decided to like get right in between them. I thought that was very weird. At first, I have to be honest, I was like, maybe he didn't actually walk up to Connor after having that conversation with Breezy. It could have just been cut that way, right? Meaning he could have walked up to Connor before that conversation. But then Connor confirms, no, he came up to me after that conversation. So that was not an editing trick.
It's weird stuff, you know?
Yeah, and then trying to dap me up after.
It's
That
so
dude's
lame.
not anybody's friend anymore, so.
He did that. That was his actual personality. I am so proud of the girlies this season who are standing up for themselves. I don't know what made Chris think that he was about to get back on Jess's good side. I really don't. I can't even give a reason for that.
When's your next day like to chill?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter to me.
You had your time to make sure of things, and that time is over.
If you don't want me to worry about that, that's fine. I'll do my own thing and worry about my own life then for the rest of my life.
I think he thinks he's just so smooth that no woman can resist him. And I honestly don't know why he has that opinion of himself. It's a little bit too high. Very high opinion of himself. Like, basically, he pulled up to Jess and was like, you know all that stuff I said, just pretend I never said any of that. Let's get back together. Let's make something shake. He really expected her to just be like, yeah, okay, come on. Oh, I really love you. That was never gonna happen with her. You got a real one over here. And I'm so glad that she didn't even entertain it. I'm fully convinced at this point that Chris's sole purpose for coming on Love is Blind was to be the villain. Because you can't explain any of this. Like, his behavior is so out there that you have to believe that either he's an actor and they told him to play this role, or he came on here and wanted to be the villain. I don't know. Nothing else makes sense. Because that would just make him a straight up asshole with no reason behind it. And I can't believe that somebody would do that. In addition, at the mixer, Tyler never showed up. I thought that was kind of lame. Keya did show up, and I don't know what the hell was going on with that edit when her and Kevan were talking. Did y'all notice anything off about it? Because I'm going to replay it here in a second, and it felt very off to me. The girls were sitting there around this table talking about Keya as if Keya were not sitting right there. And she wasn't saying anything. It was cut in a way that made me feel that that conversation didn't actually take place during that moment. And the reason that I feel that is because, one, I know a little bit about editing because I edit my YouTube videos, so I know that you can take audio from one clip and put it over another clip. And if you can't see mouths moving, how would you ever know? I do it all the time in my videos. Whenever I'm not talking like directly to the camera, I do it all the time. So I know how easy it is to do that. And so I feel like that conversation that the girls were having with Kevan happened at another time. At least a huge chunk of it did. And they overlaid that audio onto that like 5-second clip of them sitting around the table.
And I apologize.
I appreciate that.
I'll never forget you.
Oh, I mean, duh.
And I say that because they kept reusing footage in that quick little scene. Like, they kept re-showing the footage of Kia's face that you could tell was being reused.
What happened with you?
So they were, but Keya.
And yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but that moment felt very fabricated. And Keya never said anything, which is another reason why I'm like, did that conversation really take place? I don't know. Now, we know that when all is said and done, Breezy and Connor end up splitting. Well, she essentially splits from him. And again, I feel like this is the second time that they're having this conversation. Because it feels like we came into the conversation in the middle of it. Bree starts talking to Connor about how she felt when she first saw his car.
When I came into your house and I see your car and I'm like, this guy doesn't give a he doesn't give a shit about anything. What clothes you wear and like how you present yourself just makes me feel like it's lazy. Like there's no pride, there's no like hustle, there's no grit, there's no like pride to this.
And it's like, girl, is there a but coming? Because I feel like you're just insulting him at this point and telling him all these terrible things that you feel about him. Now, all of the things that she's saying, I'm not saying that I even disagree with her.
I'm just so used to someone that's out alphaed me. Like, he's been the leader.
I have very much dated this type, and that is my type. I think people often equate this type with automatically being asshole, and that's because a lot of men who are this type end up being assholes. But I've dated very sweet and caring men who are the provider protector type. And so it doesn't always come with toxic masculinity, but it often does. My issue with Breezy is that she knew up front that that's the type that she likes, and she knew pretty much from spending 5 minutes with Connor IRL that that's not who he is. And so she should have called it sooner. Now, Chris is very much an asshole, but he was not wrong in his reading of that relationship. Breezy did think that Connor was too submissive for her. Chris was correct about that. If you're looking for this type,
ordering at the restaurant, you don't have the confidence to be like, she'll take this.
But you get this type.
You're kind of looking at me like, what should we order?
The whole dynamic of the relationship is gonna be off. And that doesn't make Connor a bad guy. it just means that he's not the one for her. It's about energy, and I really do feel bad for him because, like I said, he looks very shaken up about it when he's talking to production after it happened. And they kept hinting at the possibility of them dating after everything is over, maybe just taking it slow, and they shouldn't because he's never going to be that guy, and she wants that guy, so it's not going to work out. It's an energy thing. I also wonder if she went to see Chris. I can't say for sure, but I also wouldn't put it past her. Maybe even if just for a hookup. I don't know. He did mention them being fuck buddies. Moving on to Brittany and Devontae. Devontae asked for a prenup, and no one can convince me that he didn't do that in the way that he did it as a last-ditch effort to get her to break up with him. Y'all supposed to be getting married in what? 5, 4, 3 days at the point when this conversation takes place? And he's like, hey, if you run out of money, don't come asking me for none.
I mean, I am a shopper for sure, and sometimes I do go overboard.
But if you run out of your own fun money, don't come looking in my pot.
And I know that it's not unusual for people who are married to have separate bank accounts, especially if one person shops more than the other. But it's the way that he said it. It's the way that he said it. And to me, Devontae is very much coming off as a coward. I'm sorry. This whole time, she has no idea that he doesn't date women of color. Keep in mind, he did not tell her that. At least we did not see him tell her that. He only told production. We only know from confessionals. Otherwise, has not come up in their relationship at all. So she's, from my understanding, has no idea about this. This whole time you're not attracted to her, and yet you're still going through this process. Now she is ignoring all the signs that are right there in her face, but you're also not being upfront and saying it. Instead of being a man and telling her weeks ago, you decided to drag her through this entire process. And he actually tells production that he tends to drag out relationships with no intention of marrying the woman.
I guess I haven't had this pressure before of like the marriage. It's more been in a relationship where it's like you can just kind of drag things out.
And 3 days before the wedding, you bring up a prenup. Yeah, you wanted to be able to say, hey, I tried, but she just didn't want to sign a prenup, so that's why we're not together. When we all know that's not how this played out at all. It's because you were treating her coldly because she's brown. Weird take, my boy. And this is the man who Britt says she's willing to give up her independence for. For a man that can't even compliment you, girl, stand up. Stand up.
How do you hoes act like if you ain't in no relationship, you gon' die? Y'all be weak in the knees. Stand up. Stand up.
He's telling you that he's planning to have a full 24-hour day when he's gonna go dark and not talk to you. He got Chris beat because Chris only needed a 13-hour break from Jess.
I'll probably do like a day where I'm just like, I'm unreachable. So completely off the grid. It's like completely, like complete dark day. Like phone probably won't even be on.
I know that Brittany is intelligent, so I don't know why she's not grabbing her shit and walking out the door. One theory was that maybe Devontae acts differently off cam, but I don't really think so because she says that he's a man of few words, which leads me to believe, no, he's not showing up differently off cam. He's cold to her all the time. And then she says,
I know you're not somebody that's ever gonna be like gushing over me.
Yeah.
It's like not your personality.
and it's like, no girl, he's just not doing it for you. He would have done it for Ashley. They also had this moment where Britt is showing him her lash studio where she does her lashes. And he's like, oh, I'm not used to lashes, but I will get used to them. And I'm not gonna lie, he looked extremely stressed out when he was having that conversation. And I think it's because he thinks that only non-white women wear lashes.
I'll get used to that.
Yeah, you'll have lashes all over your socks.
He's saying like, oh, I've never seen a woman with lashes, so I have to get used to it. Okay, so you've only dated white women, you're not used to lashes, and based off of context clues, I'm gonna take that to mean that you think that white women don't wear lashes. My brother in Christ, white women wear a lot of fake hair. They just call them extensions instead of weave. They get their lashes done. Free yourself of the stereotype that white women are all natural. They're the most made up people that I know. And it's no shade to them, but stop acting like they're immune from wearing makeup or they're immune from getting lashes or they don't wear fake hair. White girls wear clip-ins all the time. White girls be getting them, what them things called? Micro, I don't even know. The little, where they tape them in, you pull them out, I don't know. Anyway, white girls have all kind of fake hair, okay? I think that stereotype that's like a black woman thing is crazy. And I really do hate that Britt went as far as to buy her wedding dress before coming on the show because now she's gonna waste her dream wedding dress on Devontae. And I also might be reading too much into this just because I know that he doesn't like her and isn't attracted to her, and I know the reason why is because she's black. But when he was making fun of her for snoring, it didn't seem like cute relationship banter. It just felt mean.
You were snoring last night legitimately. Sound like a lumberjack.
I'm a cute sleeper.
To each their own. It kind of sounded like Godzilla last night. Paul Bunyan, that's your new nickname.
Like, I love banter in a relationship, but we know that you are not attracted to her, so it felt mean-spirited to me. It felt like an attack. You can call it a joke, but she's not in on it, so it's not funny. And where the hell is his family? I know they just experienced the loss, but a month in, y'all don't want to meet his future wife before a wedding? Come on now. My ultra prediction for them is that she is unfortunately going to say yes, and he's going to say no. Both should say no. And we don't even know if his family going to show up. She's brown. Hopefully, though, she does come to her senses. We can briefly discuss what happened between Alex, Priyanka, and Ashley. I think Ashley has finally started to think critically. She probably done spoken to her dad, and he said, girl, get it together, I'll raise you better. He clearly told Priyanka one thing and told Ashley something else.
You made it seem like you went to the F1 race to see her. You guys hooked up.
Oh, so she wasn't on an assignment?
She was on assignment in Austin. I stayed at her place.
Oh, so she was there when you were there.
Which I said.
No.
And he's like, well, I had said it like that because it was easier to understand.
I'm pretty sure you told me you flew in from Cleveland. I could be
did say
wrong.
I flew in from Cleveland. It was easier for me to explain it that way without having to go through this entire process.
And it's like, no, you said it like that because it was easier to lie about. That's why you said it like that. Then he had the nerve to come for Priyanka.
It's not a process, like it's a marriage. So everything should be on the table.
Between us two, right?
Correct.
Got it. So why are you here?
Okay, you don't need to get snappy with me. I don't take shit like that.
And the thing is, it's not like she exposed him or anything. She was just saying the conversation that they had, and it happened to be a lie. Now you got caught in your lie, and you mad at her. You should have kept your lies straight. But Ashley does accept his apology in the form of a McDonald's value meal, and so all is well. They go on this final date before the wedding, and Alex 100% did not plan this date. I don't see him having this in him, especially for someone that he's not attracted to. Ashley is still trying to make it happen and like stay in the moment, and she's like, oh, what do you imagine our first year of marriage to be like? What do you want to do for your birthday? What do you want to do for Christmas? What do you this? What do you that? And he tells her all these things, and she's like, okay, don't you want to know what I'm thinking? Don't you want to know what I want for my first year of marriage? And he's like, I had thought that I did ask you a question. I didn't? Oh, okay, never mind.
What other questions you got for me?
I just asked one.
What'd you ask?
I thought I just asked one.
I don't know if this is going to make sense, but in my head it makes sense, so I'm going to try to explain it. When Alex speaks, it sounds like he's giving a pitch that's wrapped up to look like a motivational speech. It's like the things that he says are like, oh, you know, I think we'll just make the best of it and we just go wherever the wind blows and everything's gonna pan out. But like in the tone and the cadence that he says it sounds like he's pitching the idea to you. I can't quite explain it, but I think if you spent any amount of time listening to someone give a pitch in corporate America, and then you've also listened to someone give a motivational speech, you might understand what I'm saying. Like, it's like a pitch in a motivational speech sheep's clothing. I can't explain it any better, but that's just what it sounds like to me. Like when I hear him, I feel like he's pitching to me, but he's trying to make it sound like, you know? I don't know.
What do you say, like, when someone asks you, like, tell me about Ashley? What do you say?
Oh, I love her authenticity. The confidence and the competitive spirit that she shows is huge. I do love the fact that you're willing to put yourself out there.
I honestly can't call this one. Like I said, I think Ashley is coming to her senses, so she might say no, but she might say yes because I feel like she just wants to be married. Alex might say no because he's not attracted to her, but he might say yes because he needs a place to live, so who knows? Amber and Jordan get into a tiff about the fact that Jordan is nervous and scared about becoming a father in 3 days. I don't know. I've been saying all season that I don't think Amber is attracted to Jordan. Some of you have said, oh, well, Amber's just awkward. That's why she kind of cringes around him a little bit. There's a world where I can see it as awkward, but right now I just see it as she's grossed out. I don't know. That's just the way that I'm reading her cringing whenever she has to go in and be affectionate to this man. And I don't understand it because I think Jordan is attractive. Don't y'all? I think he's an attractive man. Like I said at the beginning of this season, I don't even think he's big. I don't know why she is referring to him like he's like, you know, next up to see Dr. Now. I just don't, like, he's not big to me. I think he's a great looking guy, like genuinely. But her main issue is with him saying that he's nervous and scared about meeting Emma and becoming a father and telling that to Vic before he told it to her, which I can totally understand. Like, that's probably a conversation you should have had with her, definitely. But also, I don't understand her silent treatment towards him. I don't think that's healthy at all. If you're just gonna shut down at a minor inconvenience, how are we gonna make a marriage work?
Can we talk?
Matter of fact, how are we gonna have a disagreement about raising our soon-to-be daughter? What if you don't want to do this and I want to do that? Is it always gonna be like you giving me the silent treatment? I don't know. Is the daughter gonna be like that? Does she give the silent treatment? That would be definitely some red flags going off in my mind. So I don't know. Amber has had 7 years to ramp up to having a kid. You know what I mean? Like a 7-year-old. Jordan is going from 0 kids to 7-year-old. He doesn't get to go through the baby phase and like learning little things along the way. He's going straight into 7-year-old mode. So yeah, that's terrifying. I don't have kids and I don't think I would ever date someone who has kids. I ain't ready to be nobody's stepmama. I do think that both of them are going to say yes, but I still don't think that she likes him. Next up we have Vic and Christine, which I'm simply not interested in this couple. I'm sorry, I'm not. I know that production is trying to present them as the wholesome, Christian, no problems type of couple, and I feel like they're trying to, I don't want to compare them to Lauren and Cam because they could never be, but I feel like they're trying to give them the Lauren and Cam edit, but it's failing miserably because they think that what we love about Lauren and Cameron is that they never had any issues. That's what they think, but that's not what we love about them. We love them because we can tell that that love is genuine. When I look at Christine and Vic, I'm like, I feel like their story is being forced. I feel like I'm being force-fed their story. Ooh, look, wholesome Christian, eat up.
I've been praying for you for a lot longer than I've known you.
Oh, look, no problems. Eat up.
I know you'll make an excellent partner.
It's like, I don't want to eat it. I'm full. I don't want to talk about it anymore. That's why I feel like I'm being force-fed. We still have not seen them in their apartment. Why? We've only ever seen them in a positive light. They didn't go on the honeymoon. Something is going on with this couple, and neither of them nor production is admitting what it is. And so I've divested. I don't care. Whatever happens with them happens. They could be totally fine, but it's just something about it doesn't feel right to me. Like, I don't know. I do think they're both going to say yes though. So now last but not least, we have Emma and Mike. We actually got to see a part of their wedding, and so we know that Emma's going to say yes. I think that Mike is also going to say yes because he's living in Delulu land, but I hope that he says no. The kid thing will be an issue, and this is actually something that I brought up during last week's live, but even if Emma decides, okay, I'll have a kid, I wholeheartedly believe that both Mike and his parents are expecting more than one kid. Italians have really big families. That's what they're known for. I think they might be okay with one child, but they'll probably want to push her to have another one, and they probably want at least 3. That's just what I'm thinking. Regardless, he's going to be unhappy. She does explicitly bring up kids before the wedding, but even in that conversation, she ends it by saying, essentially, it's still a maybe.
Like, I am continuing to be open-minded.
Yeah, that's all. You just brought it up this way. Like,
No.
You're thinking.
And so Mike has gotten nothing else from her still. This is a fundamental difference. Like I always say, you cannot compromise on this topic of children. You just can't. And so I don't understand why, I don't know. Emma says that she's okay, but after being a hard no for so many years, I don't see how all of a sudden you think you're a yes. And she's not saying she's a yes, but to me, in choosing to marry him, she is saying it's going to be a yes someday. I just think it's wrong on both sides. I think he's being crazy for thinking about marrying her, and she's being insensitive a bit to consider marrying him, knowing that he really, really wants children and it's not a maybe for him. I think they're both a little, not thinking this through. But anyway, let me know y'all thoughts on these final 2 episodes before the weddings. Let me know your wedding predictions. I will see y'all Friday for this week's live, and until then, I'll see you later. Bye! Y'all be weak in the knees. Stand up. You're such a cutie, guy. This should be fast because this video is not going to be too long. Bless you, guy. And a whole lot of heartache could have been avoided. Could have been avoided. You ate yours. Just because you eat yours too quickly like a big bag doesn't mean that you get to come steal his cookie. Y'all be weak in the knees.